Hello and welcome to this Against the Storm tutorial on Blight. As I mentioned in the introductory tutorial, this series will be covering all aspects of the gameplay, all of the various features and mechanics of the game. However, with the game still being in early access, some of these aspects may be altered slightly or greatly throughout the development period. When that happens, I plan to provide some kind of update, either with an updated tutorial video or at a minimum as a pinned comment. With that said, let's get started. So I'm here in a test town, or a town that I've built specifically for making some of these tutorials, and I have a Blight post built. This is found in the city buildings, the city buildings category called Blight Post. The Blight Post is a building where you put in workers focused on either alchemy or warmth, so harpies or lizards. Anyone will work here, but of course you get those benefits if you do have them work here. You put in one or more workers, and you assign them one or more types of fuel to make the purging fire out of. And the purging fire is a fuel. So it does benefit if you have a fuel bonus upgrade of some kind here, effect of some kind here. So by all means, take a look at that. Make sure that you have accommodated all of those, or if you have those, that it's here, but it should be here. And you make this fuel, and they can make it out of, as I mentioned, any of the other kinds of fuel. And it's basically like flamethrower fuel. These basically are flamethrower troopers. They make up to, I can't remember if there's I guess the limit is whatever you set it at. Say I make 30 of these, just like before. I'll also have the same limits, but this is not a production limit that you can set here in the crafter. It is not here in the fuel category, even though it's here in the fuel category, up here in the items in the inventory. So we'll set these guys here, and they'll just make purging fire during the drizzle and the clearance. And then later on, during the storm, they will have some more work to do. And that work to do is dependent upon what has happened over time. So each building now also has this Blight category. And the Blight category shows that over time, as you make recipes, as you do any crafting, all crafting buildings, that is, all production buildings, you gain Blight at a certain rate, either 2 or 3, or do I have a 4% one to show you? I may not have a 4% one to show. But 2, 3, or 4, there's a third symbol. There it is right there. That's 4 right there. So 2, 3, or 4% per craft. Now, when they get the Blight, as they continue crafting, the Blight will increase by those percentages, depending on what they're crafted. And as it passes these points in time here, these different percentages, you will gain an effect on the building itself. The first effect here is Blight infection. Blight rot grows on the structure, meaning that there is no safe way to destroy the building. So if you'd like to destroy one of these buildings that has this first effect, which is a cyst, by the way, and we'll show you what those are in a few moments, then you cannot destroy this building without burning that cyst using the Blight post workers. And they only burn cysts during the storm, as you can see here in the tooltip. Once they pass this second threshold, these are each at 33%. So once they pass 66%, they gain an effect called pollen, where blight rot cysts produce strange pollen that affects the craftsmen in this building. Workers move 20% faster. Well, wait a minute, this is a buff. You're right, this is a buff. And then finally, the third point here at 100%, hypnosis. The presence of blight rot cysts create a strange aura within the building. Workers have a 25% chance of doubling their production. Well, wait a minute. That's also a buff. Yes, cysts cause buffs. However, 3 cysts will produce 60 corruption per minute each. And remember, the storm is 2 minutes long. So that means that each cyst will cause 120 total corruption. Now, what does corruption mean? Well, corruption is here in the Ancient Hearth. The Ancient Hearth shows you how many, only in the Ancient Hearth too, by the way. It does not show up here in the Small Hearths. In the Ancient Hearth will show you how many cysts you have currently throughout your entire town. Now, you could be a sliver away from another one. It doesn't show you that. Some you currently have in your town, 5 in this case. We have 5 Blight Cysts. That means that we're going to gain plus 300 per minute of Blight Rot, or 600 during the course of the storm, because we're at a default storm length, which is 34% of our max. It's literally 600 divided by 1600. Now, if you watch the previous tutorial on hubs, you'll know that the hubs increase our Blight Rot corruption resistance by 150. So there's 150 here, there's 150 here, there's 150 here. That's 450 total from the ancient hearth. And then I just have a small one here. I need to do some decoration building here in this hearth zone here. But I have another 150 here, so that's a total of 600 extra resistance, which is the 600 part of the 1600 here. What happens when you get to a max? Well, the voice of the sealed one's consequence takes effect. The corruption weakens the holy flame's protective power, and faint whispers from beyond turn into terrifying screams. Kills 3 random villagers. So how do you fight the corruption? How do you fight the cysts to make sure that you don't have too many cysts on your buildings to fill this meter up during the course of the storm? Well, it's simple. You go into any building that you have, and you check or uncheck this checkbox. This checkbox will, when checked, will allow them to burn the cysts during the storm. So let's say we had, I don't know, a dozen or more cysts in our town. In fact, let's say we had, this says 5 is 34%. Let's say we had 15, and we definitely needed to knock down our corruption, total corruption, because 15 would put us at just a little bit more than 1600 would put us at 1800, in fact, over the course of the storm. So we would need to go around, and we would need to have our Blight Post workers here purge the cysts with Purging Fire. So you want to have this checkbox checked, and they will go and they will burn any cysts on this that have accumulated on this building. Now, you might say, well, why didn't I want to do that every storm? Why wouldn't I want to burn all those cysts? Well, because it takes a while to build them back up again. And if you saw these 2 buffs, it's actually beneficial to have at least some corruption on some of your buildings. So think about the buildings you might want to make think about which buildings you might want to get the most effort from either or both of these buffs. Maybe you have a building where you're crafting a lot of something, and there maybe especially ones that have the low percentages, the single little cyst symbol here, like planks and fabric here. I don't know why we're still making packs of crops. I don't need to. Coal would be a good one. Maybe in this case here, we do not want to allow them to burn the cysts at the kiln. This takes a long time to build up because the jerky and the coal that we're making here are both only single 2% recipes. We want to crank out a lot of coal. We want to really get this bonus coming and this bonus coming. So we want to keep those cysts around. Well, that's 3 eventually permanent cysts that we'll have in our town. And so you can kind of go through and you can say, well, I can handle up to 13 or 14 or whatever it ends up being here. I can handle up to that many cysts in my town. So let's see. Well, there's 3 there. Maybe I want, let's see, what do these guys make? They make incense and biscuits. That's okay, but maybe that's not what I want. Maybe wait, these guys make biscuits too? Oops. Well, we got 2 people making biscuits. It's fine. It doesn't hurt. Biscuits and biscuits. Yep. Okay. That's fine. It doesn't hurt. I could turn them off though here. Yeah, we don't need to get into that. The smithy. Well, maybe the smithy I don't want to worry about because the only thing we're making here is simple tools. It's a 4% recipe. So, maybe I don't really care. I'm going to let that build up over time. We're not making that many tools. it's a high percentage recipe. So if we do make a lot of tools one year, it'll gain some cysts really fast, for example. So maybe we do the supplier, because we know we need a lot of planks, we know we need a lot of flour, and those are going to take a little bit more time to make. You know, maybe we also look at the brickyard. We're not making that much crystallized dew because, well, I don't have a dew collector, but so we'll keep that one turned on. And you just kind of go through your buildings and think about where you might want to have those cysts take effect, but just make sure that you don't have too many cysts in your town before the storm hits. You can also use the Blight overlay, which is the Z key here, to show you how many cysts you currently have on each building. And that's a good thing to check into when the thunder rolls at 30 seconds. At 30 seconds? At 20 seconds? Oh, and I just won. Okay, continue settlement. Yes, we're continuing. Wait, it's 20 seconds? Maybe it went before the time. I bet you already went before I paused. So when you hear that thunder, maybe you want to come in. You want to say, okay, how many cysts do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I don't want any of these buildings to lose their cysts yet. So let's uncheck all of those checkboxes. And we're going to keep all of those cysts because we can afford it, and we might as well keep them. Well, except that I need to demonstrate. So for the demonstration purposes, I'm going to keep this one checked. So in the storm, the Blight post workers will pop out. As soon as the storm hits, there it goes. The Blight post workers will pop out of here, and they'll go and they'll find wherever you might have a cyst. And these cysts are kind of cool because they grow here on top of the roof of all of your buildings. And you can see here that the harpy has shown up, and let me turn off the overlay so you can see it a little bit better here. The harpy has shown up and is burning a cyst with the purging fire, and then that kills that cyst, and that takes the corruption all the way back down to 0, I believe. Once they burn off all the cysts, yeah, down to 0, and then it starts all over again, or down to 1. But they won't touch the cysts on the buildings where we've unchecked that box. So kind of keep that in mind, and try and keep your cysts at as many as you can fit in whatever percentage you have. Why did my safety net drop down? I don't know. Harpies are not happy with me here, but that's fine. I don't know why my safety net dropped. Actually, I don't have any real idea why that dropped to 1400 from 1600. I have 3 effects here. I have 1 effect here. Where did I lose 2? I know where I lose 200 from. I lose 200 from an effect someplace right here. Due to this hostility to forest mystery here, I have a hearth resistance decreased by 200. So that may be something else you have to factor in. If you have other effects, positive or negative, they'll change this number, and it could be seasonal. So you will have to, you may have to burn some of those cysts in order to keep everything happy. So think about that. Keep that in mind as well. So I think that's it on how how Purging Fire works, how Blight works, how Cysts work, how this whole system works. And we'll be back with another tutorial in a little while, very soon. In the meantime, check out other tutorials on this series on my channel, and also check out the Let's Play, where the first several towns have already been completed, and the first couple are fairly slow going through all of the a lot of the same information you found in these tutorials, but in the more practical hands-on setting of a Let's Play. And then and then as the towns progress, I accelerate the play so that we get to a more comfortable play speed without a lot of explanation breaks. So if you have any questions or comments, reach out to me in the comment section below, or find my Discord link in the description and join me there, and we can have a discussion about the game, the tutorials, the Let's Play series, or anything else for that matter. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.